Welcome to the third video in the DeFi course. This video we're going to be covering what is DeFi. So what exactly is it? How does it work? We won't go too in depth on how it works because that's for later videos and showing you guys real world examples of how it works and the different services that are available. But in this video we will be doing a brief understanding of what DeFi is and how it operates, where it operates, just so you guys are well prepared for the videos that will follow. And we will also, at the end of this video, be doing a overview of what use cases DeFi has as of right now that we know of, and some that you can actually start utilizing right away. And I won't go into too much detail on them. I just want to, this is really just an intro to DeFi, what is it and what use cases and what services are allowed as of now. So let's get into it. DeFi is essentially a term that describes the peer-to-peer financial services that are available on public blockchains. A blockchain is literally a series of blocks on a chain, and each one of those blocks contain a bundle of transactions that have occurred on that blockchain. If you're imagining it, it's really just a series of blocks. So a block, a line, another block, and here's an example of, and this is something anybody can use. It's the Blockchain Explorer. It allows you to see any data, any transaction, any block that has ever occurred on any blockchain. Okay, and while I'm on that topic of any blockchain, every single cryptocurrency has its own blockchain. So Bitcoin, one of the most popular cryptocurrency, well known, has its own blockchain. XRP has its own blockchain, and ETH has its own blockchain. A blockchain is just a storage of data, the decentralized storage of data for each of these cryptos in their networks. And so here's the latest block. It was mined 7 minutes ago by this pool via BTC. And so let's click on it. You can view, so a block contains a certain amount of transactions. And so as we can see as we go down, so this block was mined 7 minutes ago and it contained 2,000, close to just about 3,000 transactions. Okay, and so those are verified and confirmed transactions. So these over here, you can see all the most recent transactions that are constantly occurring. These are the most recently published unconfirmed transactions. So when they are confirmed, they are brought over and put into a block on the blockchain and become a block in that chain of blocks, essentially. And it's really cool with this because, and we'll get into that more. Give me 1 second. So there are a few types of blockchains, and there's public, there's private, and there's federated. So public blockchain is essentially a network that is completely decentralized, meaning that anyone can access and view the transactions that took place anywhere from a second ago all the way back to the very first block of information that ever took place on that specific blockchain. And before I get into what I want to say, I'm going to show you an example of that. You can see the very first block that ever took place on Bitcoin. Let's click on that. That goes all the way back to 2009. That's pretty cool. Very cool, honestly. So that's number of transactions, only one transaction, and the block reward. So what the person, whoever mined this, was rewarded was 50 Bitcoin, which is the equivalent today to $2 million. And so it's pretty massive. Obviously back then it was only worth pennies, but it's just crazy to see how far it's come in only a matter of 14 years. 13 years. But anyway, so that's just kind of something I wanted to show you. You can view that with any blockchain out there besides private and federated ones. And so also I wanted to mention on that is that they're completely decentralized, and so anyone can go in and copy the code that was used to create this blockchain and create ones that are like it. And that's where you see what we mentioned earlier on the various types of crypto coins that are trying to create an alternative to Bitcoin. And when I say alternative to Bitcoin, I mean just in the sense that they're going to improve upon it. I believe Bitcoin is a good store of value, and a good hedge against inflation, and a good store of value the same way you'd think of like gold or silver. But there are cryptos that improve upon the amount of energy that goes into maintaining and verifying, I guess, these transactions, as we kind of referred to earlier on this blockchain explorer. The Bitcoin is, and its blockchain is pretty energy intensive, as opposed to various other new types of blockchains and consents, I should say, not new blockchains, but new ways of verifying transactions, which we will get into in the next video. Not next video, but later down the road, we will get into how, you know, different types of verifying transactions work. So yeah, and beyond that, so then you have private and federated blockchains, which are more so for enterprises that need security and privacy, as well as a faster and more cost-effective way of storing data when it comes to the data of transactions and customers and all that stuff that comes along with it. An example is bank chain. I'm not going to get too much into private and federated just because we don't really deal with it too much, if at all, in what we'll be doing through this DeFi course. But just be aware that there are other blockchains beyond just, you know, public, which gives us complete access to it. But so back to DeFi, there are many use cases it has that we will get into, but the most important thing that I could leave you with in this video is that DeFi is very new and is already creating an entire digital alternative to Wall Street, which is a pretty big statement, but and it is creating that alternative to Wall Street without all the associated costs like office towers, you know, building those office towers and having these trading floors and the banker salaries and all those costs of those things, the office towers, trading floors, banker salaries, are incorporated into the cost of you being able to trade through Wall Street. And so this is creating a more frictionless way for, you know, the smaller guys or retail investors to get involved with these bigger things. And so this has the potential to create more open, free, and fair financial markets that are accessible to anyone with an internet connection. And not only does DeFi create new opportunities, but it also reduces friction between you and the financial investments you make, because there is no intermediary with this, because it is decentralized and it is peer-to-peer from you to me. Decentralized finance also opens the doors to new markets known as AMMs, or automated market makers. We will be getting into that. It's essentially an algorithm that makes a market. It's kind of like an order book, but don't worry about not understanding what it is. It is in the definitions tab I created for you guys, that PDF, but it will be described in depth and examples will be shown on that. So that is not all. None of this is all, but my point is that there are many opportunities that DeFi has already brought to market that are revolutionary. Quite honestly, revolutionary. Creating an entire alternative to Wall Street is huge, huge. And with it being so early, I mean, we're talking only like 5 years, really only 3 years of I would say 1 to 3 years of serious participation. And there's only a fraction of the world that's involved right now. Fraction of a fraction. I mean, we are a tiny percentage. So, you know, with that, I just can't imagine what will come in the next 5 to 10 years. Like, it's going to be incredible to see. But anyway, just to sum up, DeFi is a term that describes the peer-to-peer financial services that are available on public blockchains. Blockchains are a decentralized storage of data, which are much more cost-effective in that storage, and also provides frictionless access to financial services that are peer-to-peer with no central authority, hence decentralization. And then there's tons of innovation coming from the world of DeFi, providing an alternative to Wall Street and the high fees associated with it as being just an example of one of the many things. And so the things that we are going to cover in this course and what DeFi is already being used for is obviously exchanging crypto. So going from crypto to crypto, you have derivatives, which are a financial investment or a representation of a commodity or something, and we'll get into that as well. Insurance, you can get insurance through DeFi. Loans, yield farming, liquidity pools, and governance staking. These are 3 ways of earning passive income right out the gate, very simply. And business acquisition, so decentralized business acquisition, acquiring finance. So it's a platform that allows you to either sell your business to someone or acquire a business and get the funding and all the necessary connections associated with that. It's a pretty brand new platform, pretty brand new idea and concept that was introduced by an individual, Ken Mack, and some of his business partners. So that's something that's exciting and new, but every single one of these things we will be getting into in depth later down the road in the course. So next up in the course, the first thing we're going to be diving into is derivatives. So I will see you in that video in a bit.